driving, running, sitting, wherever you are. It's perfect.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Coffee Club. We created this club to provide a safe space for women to share and inspire each other. And we're so fortunate this morning to have Cynthia Maloney to be presenting for us. And her topic is Tap into Your Inner Wisdom. So, with that, Cynthia, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to choose this topic. Thank you.
Mm, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for the warm welcome. And Lachelle, thank you for the introduction to the space of these amazing, incredible women. I've heard a little bit about you all, but haven't had an opportunity to spend time with you. I'm Cynthia Jean, and I'm showing up as the integrative well-being coach because I believe that we are many faceted humans of mind, body, heart, and soul. And I landed in this place on the topic of muscle testing because many, many times in life, we are women who are wearing lots of different hats with various different stressors. I see some nodding already. You ever feel like you wonder which hat you put on at that any given moment? I feel that a lot. And so what I've noticed to be true is that we are all humans that are filled with electricity that's running through our bodies, and our body has some information to give us if we know the language that it speaks. So I call that muscle testing, and I love to introduce people to it, especially women, so they've got a little bit more of a compass that they can rely on consistently to help guide them through decision making. So wouldn't it be nice to be able to ask yourself a question and have a decision plainly present? Like you get out of that sense of overwhelm and that downward spiral of reactivity, and you get placed into the space of creativity where calm and clarity live. Who wants some calm and clarity? Yeah, I feel that too. So that gives you a little bit of where I come from and what we're going to be talking about today. I really am just a lover of human brains. So everything that I've done in the past has come back to how does our brain work? How's our brain wired and what makes it reactive? And also how we can choose to respond instead of and
Hmm.
just notice how your brain is reacting. So um, I think that is probably good enough. I don't want to spend too much time on myself. I'd rather spend time on you all. So if that's okay, I see Kathleen's jumping in here too. And I just welcome you all into this space. All right, Rainey, what else do you have to get us started today?
So, you can just go ahead with the presentation for about 35 minutes, and then we're gonna open it up to Q&A. Normally, I like everyone to give a feedback at that time. If we have time, sometimes we go a little bit over if you don't mind. And
Yeah.
anyone who needs to leave can leave at 8 o'clock. So that's pretty much my format. So go
Okay.
ahead, Cynthia, and go ahead with your presentation. Thank you.
Easy peasy. Okay. Well, wonderful. I thought you had a bunch of goodies for us. And you're like, no, you're the goodie.
You are the goodie. That's it.
Okay, great. I see Jane is hopping in here too. Does everybody have your workbook? I just want to make sure that you got access to that. And if you do, maybe show me your pen or give me a thumbs up. You're welcome to use the Zoom reactions also. And then I turned on the captions too, just for inclusivity. If you're a neurodivergent person like I am, sometimes you need some words on the screen to help guide you and keep you grounded.
Jane, for those who just arriving, Cynthia put the link, her chat book link on the chat.
Yes, yes. So I have a workbook to support you. And before we move into any type of content, what I would really love to invite you into is just being calm and clear and present with a little bit of breathing. How does that sound? I'm guessing that we've been doing other things and kind of running around, and then you're like, oh wow, it's time to go. It's time to get to the place. So if you are in a place where you can place your feet flat on the ground and that feels comfortable to you, I invite you to do so and maybe straighten your spine a little bit. And with your next couple breaths, I just invite you to lengthen your breath on the inhale and on the exhale, maybe to the count of 4 or so. And I'll take you on a little journey. This will unlock your brain to be calm and clear, so you're actively present. So with your next breath, just follow my lead. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. And continue on at your own pace for a moment. Okay, I would like to start off by inviting you into a story about listening to your intuition. So it's one of my favorite stories. I have many, many from my own, and I'm guessing that you probably have many of your own. And one of my favorite stories is a story about my son. He is about 25, mid-20s or so. And not too long ago, he saw something on the news that was our local news, a story about a group that was gathering, and the news was reporting something that he wasn't quite sure if it was accurate. So he thought, I'm going to put on my investigator hat, my detective hat. That place isn't very far away, so I'm going to go hang out and see what is happening. So he went down to the place where people were gathering as they were thinking about marching on a specific topic that was kind of a hot topic in the news at the time. And it was a very peaceful experience, and the news was not reporting that it was peaceful. And as he was there, he got this feeling, even though his eyes told him that it was a peaceful experience, he got this sense that he needed to leave. And he listened. He told his friends, I feel like we need to go. Like, something's not right. So we should go. So they left. They got in their car and they left. And within a half an hour or so, there was a police presence with riot gear on that gathered the people and made them leave. So tear gas was a part of the experience, all kinds of craziness and madness. And so he really had this intuitive hit that he listened to. He didn't just poo-poo it away because his eyes told him something different. His thinking brain told him something different. He listened to it and he responded. And so he was protected. Him and his friends were not part of that experience that could have been a very bad thing, potentially. And so I'm just curious, as you listen to this story, what might be unlocked for you about your own experience? And if you'd like to follow along on page 2 of your workbook, where it says High Point Story at the top, if you would like to follow along here, you can write down your own thoughts about something that you experienced for yourself, maybe a moment in time, a real life story where you or someone you know, or maybe a story that you've heard about. And the core thing is that a gut feeling was felt and it prevented, protected, or inspired an action to be taken. So it wasn't the thinking brain that was engaged, it was the body that was listened to. So I'm going to cue up some music here. Does anybody have any questions about this particular question? Okay, great. I'm going to cue up some music and you can just note what it is that comes to mind, a story, a real life story where you or someone you know listened to their gut. And if you'd like to expand on this story, maybe what was happening? What emotions were present in this experience? And what did you contribute to this moment? Once you feel like you've got an essence of this story, this real life experience that you or someone you know shared, go ahead and drop an emoji into the chat. Just let me know where you are. I want to make sure you've got something in mind that you're feeling inspired by of your own wisdom. Okay, we'll give you about 30 seconds or so to wrap up your thoughts and just trust whatever you have on your paper is perfect. It's exactly where you need to be. Welcome, Mo. I'm going to drop the workbook link into the chat so you have that available for you. So happy you're here. We've just taken a moment on page 2 of the workbook to identify a real life story of where your gut told you something and you listened. Maybe it's the story of someone you know where you were protected or inspired to take action. All right. Now that you have this story, the essence of this experience of your own wisdom, your own intuitive guidance in mind, I'm just curious if you've ever wished that you could consistently tap into this inner knowing so you could reduce the amount of time you spend paralyzed by the never-ending to-do list, overwhelming amount of decision making, or inner critic thoughts that keep you playing small. any of those feelings resonate, you're welcome to
Yeah,
come off.
I'll start. I can't think of any specific experience, but I'm very much into investment, whether it's real estate or crypto or
Yeah.
any type of financial investment. But even in those situations, sometimes I use my gut feeling, whether it's something the right thing to do or not over the
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but for the most part, I think it's good. It's good when you have the gut feel to do, not to do, to kind of sometimes to follow your gut. Um, and I think that's you know, I think all of us in life, and I think what you're trying to impart here is that to pay more attention to our intuition, and sometimes it's kind of like you're incorporating into your the divine timing, like you pray about something and then you pay attention, something happen. Um, but anyway, I know I'm being kind of all over the place because I don't have
Yeah.
anything specific. But yeah, but I do use gut feel. It's just a combination of your gut feel
Mm-hmm.
and also your, you know, your what what you think is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to ask Val. Val, go ahead. I'm just gonna be calling name here to
Okay.
see
Okay.
what you wrote on your workbook about the your intuition in a situation that you actually trusting your gut to do or not to do. Go ahead, Val.
Val Victoria. You know
Oh
your
yeah, yeah. I forgot you changed your name.
it's
Val
okay.
changed her
I have
name.
it.
Okay, it'll
No
be a
worries.
while.
Yeah, it will be a while for sure. No worries. Um, the story that happened 29 years ago was when I made the decision to leave abroad. And I was 28, 27, 28 years old. But the story started in my mind at 9 years old that I would be living abroad and speaking English,
Mm-hmm.
communicate with people. And I remember I got involved into the paradigm of mom and dad were doing that, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then all of a sudden I had like a wake-up call that I was not pursuing what I was really meant to do during
Mm-hmm.
this life. And so what happened is I'm an Aries woman, so I rely pretty much 99% of the time with my gut feeling. Aries people don't think. We
Mm-hmm.
act, we feel, and we act. And whether or not it's good, this is how we grow, basically. And so I've experienced, during those times, some hardship, but how many times successful people experience hardship?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times. And so it makes me feel I can relate and I don't take the hardship as hard as it is hitting me. And so when I entered the United States, I had $5 in my pocket, one phone number. I had to wait till the last minute to call that person because they didn't know I was coming. I mean, it was total divine intervention because when my friend picked up the phone and I said, I'm in Atlanta, I'll be in New Orleans in an hour, please pick me up.
Wow.
So it's a 100% gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we reach that state of mind where that's only what there is, and not being disturbed with anything around, because I was like, well, what if he doesn't pick up the phone? What am I gonna do? I have only now $2 in my pocket because I had to eat and get a little water and get the phone call going. We didn't have cell phone at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird, but yes, we didn't have cell phone. And so again, I rely 99% of my time on my gut feeling. I'm a trailblazer. I have to find out because I cannot leave with myself with the idea when it's going to be my last breath on during this life to say, what if? I cannot stand the idea of the what if. I had done that. So I'm doing it. And so far, so good.
Thank you
I
for your
sense,
share. Yeah, go ahead.
oh my gosh, I'm really inspired by how you are just so present with what your body's telling you and using it as a guide. And I also really appreciate how the essence of your experiences is that you, even through quote unquote hardship, you're either winning or learning.
That's it.
And I can't think of anything that I've gone through in my own life where there wasn't an opportunity for growth. Even if it's just awareness or connecting with another person in relationship because of what my experience was. Like these are the things that are the great connectors of humanity, is our lived experiences. And I'm just curious what it might be like for all of us to live in a place where our intuitive sense is active and alive and we trust it.
Yeah,
So how,
yeah.
thank you, Rini, go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's move on to the next person because I this is a great topic, Cynthia, because I think that all of us, you can't just trusting your brain 100%. I think it goes with your intuition. It's almost like they go along together, but some people are relying it more pronounced or not. But because oftentimes it's also fear that's
Mm.
preventing you from doing what you want to do or need to do. So with that, I'll go to Mo. Go ahead, Mo. Yeah, before we do that, in the interest of time, because we have a lot of people here, go ahead and raise your hand if you want to say, because we may not get to everyone, because otherwise Cynthia won't be able to finish her content. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Mo.
and can I encourage you also, if you have something to share, please place it in the chat. Like that's a really great place to capture your thoughts too. So if we don't get to hear your voice audibly, we can still be in community together and learn from each other. Go ahead,
Sounds
Mo.
good.
Hi, everyone. It's interesting to me because in 53 years, I've been for so many years, I was such a people pleaser. And so I didn't want to, ruffle any feathers or rock the boat. And that really gets in the way of listening to that gut feeling. And something I dabble in is human design. And I did a reading the other day. And here you go. And, as a 5-1 generator, emotional generator, I have to ride that wave, but I have to get there. But when I'm trying to solve things from my head, it is never a good idea. And so listening to my body, responding to my body has taken time to learn that. But when I was 22 years old, I was pregnant with my first child out of wedlock. And my sister said, or I had to leave, I ended up in the emergency room, and after throwing an ashtray, it's a whole story, but I knew I had to leave the situation. It was so bad. And if I had listened to my head, I would have said, no, you got to stay. You don't want to leave everything. My sister offered me to move across country to live with her, to help raise the baby. He's 30 now. But it's amazing to me because in that moment, in that divine moment where I let go of fear and I was like, and went with that gut instinct and thought, no, I have to leave all logic out of this. I went with my gut instinct. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And it was so empowering because if I had sat there and thought about it, I would be probably in a very different place today. So it was part divine, part, in that gut instinct. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. So, I mean, I still got pregnant out of wedlock again, but again, another story for another time. There's some gut instincts I didn't listen to,
Thanks for sharing that. I can sense that you really did a lot of learning and growing and winning through that and reflecting and also just recognizing that our thinking brain, it has a place, but it's more for data analysis
Yes.
and information. It's not always the best place to actually make the decision from. Like, You can look at the information just for that sense of exploring and having data, right? But if it has to do with relationship or emotion, your gut is going to be the best guide for you.
Yes.
So I love how that has showed up for you time and time again. I sense that that's just your way of being in the world, and it's really served you. You can tell by the energy that you're exuding.
It's a gift. And I said in the comments, recognizing opportunities for growth is a gift not everyone possesses. And so if you have that, or if you can develop that, it's such a game changer. It's such a, because I'm always thinking like, what can I do with this? Okay, this is what's happening. What can I do with it?
Awesome. And if you don't feel very intuitive, that is okay. Sometimes it's a gift, and sometimes it's just the fact that we live in a society that places 90% of value on our thinking brain, right? What can we learn? How much information can we give? It's not about wisdom. Wisdom isn't talked about a whole lot in our society in this day and age. It's all about like, what do you know here? Not what do you know here? So it makes sense why we might not recognize, or maybe it feels that it's a little rusty. So that's what I want you to walk away with today, is a tool that you can use that's like, oh, this is how my body communicates with me, and I just didn't recognize that it was there. So I think we have time for one more voice audibly.
Anna has her hands up.
Oh, great, great.
Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for I just wanted to mention that, yes, lots of situations we have very strong gut feelings, and I think this is very like this strong intuition. But in many different situations, we have this intuition intertwined with the fear. And in some occasions, you wonder, is it intuition or is it fear? So how can we differentiate? Do you have any tips for that?
Oh, yes. We're going to learn how to ask our body. So the wonderful thing about our bodies is we are electricity all in a bundle. We're energetic beings, and our electricness, if you will, is wired to keep you safe or to let you know, hey, this is not something that is true or is for you, in alignment for you. So we actually have the ability to recognize that we have this built-in lie detector test within our bodies. We just have to know how to listen to it. So that's a perfect question, a perfect segue into understanding what muscle testing is. So if you guys are open, do you feel like this is a good time to explore what that means for us? Because
Yeah, go
our
ahead.
bodies, okay, great. Our bodies tell us information by how it vibrates. So it's actually a neuroscience hack. So your nervous system vibrates smooth when you are in congruence. So when something is true and safe for you. And your body vibrates rough when it's something untrue or not for you or false. And you may have sensed that as you thought about this intuition story when we were thinking of this question, a story, a real life experience where something inspired an action. So your body was actually telling you, this is for you, this is true, this is smooth, if you will. Your body was vibrating smoothly. So there's a whole bunch of science and data that I was going to give you, but I think I'll just jump right in and offer you an experience, if that's okay. So you can actually feel what it means for your body to tell you yes or no. So it's the same theory that is used for a lie detector test. I don't know if you know much about that, but when a machine is attached to your finger, a person's finger, in a lie detector test scenario, it is detecting the vibrational frequency of your body, if it's smooth or if it's rough. So the thing is, you got to ask yes or no questions. So that is key here. And on page 3 of your workbook, if you want to take some notes, if something resonates with you, I also have a video there that teaches you 7 different ways that you can ask your body. But I'm going to teach you a couple of them. So if you're in a space where everybody's sitting, so I'm going to offer this one first. If you would like to place your thumb and your pointer finger together, and the pressure should be very light, as if you're holding a ladybug. Okay, don't squish the ladybug. We want the ladybug. Okay, so as you have your finger together on your thumb, I would like you to make a statement and rub your finger just slightly back and forth with that light pressure. So whatever your name is, say, my name is blank. And what do you notice? The texture, what does it feel like? If you'd like to place it in the chat, go ahead and tell me what that feels like as you say, my name is Cynthia. Don't say that, say your name, your own name. Smooth. Thank you, Joey. Yeah. Really smooth, soft and comfy. Awesome. I love that. Feels like I need moisturizer. Yes, I know. I always notice when I'm like, oh, I need some lotion. Warm. Great. Okay. Now in stark contrast, so that's a baseline for you of something that is true. That is how your body feels when you're saying something true. And it might be different for each person. So that's why I ask you to place your own descriptions in the chat. Now come back to your fingers. Just take a moment and notice them and say something false, like my name is Bob. We don't have any Bobs in the room, right? Okay, with the same pressure, notice the texture. My name is Bob. And go ahead and place in the chat. What does that feel like? And friction. Okay, yeah. I can't even, resistance. They don't even move. Victoria, yeah. You're like, oh yeah. Oh, Mo, that's cool. Like I'm trying to write with the wrong hand. Totally feels that way. Yeah, my signature looks terrible. You can't even tell. Sticky. Yes. Okay. So that gives you an idea. Let's play a little bit more. Let's say, let's go back to a congruent or true. Say yes, love, peace, joy. Today is April 11th. I am a human. Okay. Now let's switch. No, hate, war, confusion. I have a pet hippopotamus. You sense it, right? Yeah. My fingers don't move again. Yeah. This is your body saying smooth or rough. Isn't that cool? You have your own lie detector test. So if you're in a safe place, it's weird and it's awesome. If you're in a safe place, I would like to invite you to stand up and experience it in a different way. This is called a sway test. So if you're going to move back here. Okay. So I invite you to just have a comfortable stance with your feet about your shoulder width apart. And if you'd like to close your eyes, if you feel comfortable, I invite you to do that. And just notice your equilibrium keeping you upright. So you'll probably notice a slight swaying, just a little bit, not too much. Now we're going to make an observation of how your body is going to be drawn, how it feels when you make yes statements versus no statements. Okay, so if you'd like to just listen to me, listen to my words and notice how your body moves. And if you feel comfortable to close your eyes, you'll probably notice it more. Okay. Say, my name is, and fill in the blank. Yes. Love. Peace. Joy. Abundance. Today is April 11th. I am a human. Okay. Now go ahead and anchor yourself back into that neutral place. And notice, did you notice how your body was drawn a certain way with those statements? Yeah. Okay. Now say, my name is Bob. No. Hate. War. Confusion. Chaos. September 11th, 2001. Do you sense something different? Yeah. What's your body telling you? Go ahead and just share in the chat what that experience was like. What did you notice in contrast when you made positive statements? Pulling to the right, forward and backward. Yeah. I love that. I would like to invite one voice in. So if you feel in the heart or mind to share audibly, just one person, I want to give you some ideas of how you might use this as in your own life. But I would love to hear what that was like when you were doing the fingers test, saying yes statements, no statements. Just in a brief
Sandra. Sandra,
Yeah.
go
Okay.
ahead, since she's still standing up.
Were you doing more tests, asking more questions? Good for you.
Go ahead, Sandra. What's your feedback?
Oh, sorry. What was the question?
What did you notice? What did you observe? Like,
I was
or
surprised
appreciate?
because with my no, with my yes, I was going backwards.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, that's like taking it into myself.
Uh-huh.
When I had the no and the rough time, I was like going into the shoulders, ready to.
Oh, ready
I
to
was going
go,
in.
like fight, flight. Ooh,
Yeah.
whoa,
So it was
okay.
rather interesting. So I thought, well, I'll keep asking a couple more questions.
Yeah.
But it was very much with the eyes closed. It was very much the leaning back, which was okay, and the going forward, which was.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Well, you may be wondering, well, how might I use this in my own life? And I can share with you some ideas of how I use it. Because this potential isn't confined to identifying the date. Or if you have a pet hippopotamus or what your name is. Anything can be tested as long as it has the potential to support your well-being. So have you ever stood in the grocery store debating as to what meal to have, or like if you should buy apples or bananas? You can even ask your body, like apple or banana. Apple, yes or no? Banana, yes or no? I mean, that's a simple thing. So my favorite thing to do is just keep myself out of overwhelm. If I'm starting to spend too much time thinking about something to make a decision on how to move forward, I'll just ask, which one? And get information about what's most supportive for my well-being. I can also ask big questions, like if I feel like my teenager is fibbing, but I have no proof, I just ask, is this a lie? And then I move forward just based on my body's response. And I don't bring any shame or blame. It's just information for me to know, right? Because we're all exploring when we're teenagers and figuring out how to move in the world and what we can get away with. And
so did you say you were asking the question on your body about whether your teenager was lying or not?
my body knows.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Your body knows all truth. You are designed as an energetic being to identify congruence, truth, or incongruence, false. So there's information always available to us if we ask. So I encourage you to try it out with simple things like, what book should I buy? What movie should I watch tonight? And the reason why you're going to get a yes or no is because it's for your highest good. What is for your purpose, your highest purpose, your way of being in the world? What's going to bring forth exactly what it is that you're supposed to do next in order to win or learn, like we talked about in the beginning, right? That intuitive guidance, your body knows and has information to you. You can navigate social situations. Oh, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a birthday party to go to tonight. And then I start thinking, are these the people that are going to support my highest good that I'm supposed to spend time with? Maybe, maybe not. So I'll just ask, should I go? Should I stay home? What's most supportive to my well-being? So we've got Mo. I have a teenager. Yeah. I've got a 30-year-old too. Funny. We should talk. See how many kids we have and if they're all the same age. All right. So if you'd like to learn more, there is a QR code that you can scan on page 3 so we can chat about whatever it is that you want to talk about. I'd love to connect with you. Page 4 just has common well-being challenges that I use in my energy healing practice, and I use muscle testing for asking and revealing what's out of alignment in someone's body to help them identify what's truly what's causing the aches or pain. What is actually, that's awesome. Mo just dropped ages in the chat, so I'm observing that. I'm like, oh, that's super curious. So that technique is called the emotion code. This is primarily how I use muscle testing to help make a difference in the world and people's lives. I love doing emotion code and body code. So if you're curious about that, I also offer a complimentary session just so you can explore what the heck is that? Or maybe you already know and you'd like to just see how other people do it. That's okay too. But what I would love to do for you is give you a little bit more journaling time. I see that we've got just about 15 minutes left. So I just want to help you identify, because one of the things I love to do is create a complete learning cycle for an adult brain. And this is how we do it. You ask a question in the beginning that's meaningful to you. Then you learn something. And then you identify what you're most inspired by or what you appreciate. And you make a choice of what you want to do to move forward. So I'm going to bring up some music again. And on page 5 of your workbook, there's just a place for you to anchor your thoughts, your desires, your inspiration, your appreciation. This is so important because how many times have you learned something and then you forgot it in a week?
Do you want to put the page on share the page,
Yeah,
Cynthia?
yeah, you bet. Let me cue up some music first, I think. Oh, no. Here we go. All right, so what is your biggest takeaway, inspiration, or appreciation from what you just learned about how your body can speak to you? We just need to know the right language. Then if you also like to identify what is one thing that you would like to apply from this experience, our last 30 minutes together. Gonna see if I can get music up too, maybe.
Cynthia, I have a question on this last question or comment that you put.
Yeah.
You said, what would you like to apply I don't think I grasp the intention.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. So an idea of what might you want to apply. So if you look back here at page 3, maybe you want to try out your own muscle testing because you got a positive and a negative response from your own body, right? I think that you did. You experienced what yes means for you and what no means. Is that right? Where'd you go? So if you identified how your body responds smooth and how it responds rough, maybe you want to apply it in a specific situation in your own life. Maybe you want to just try it for something simple, like what are you going to do this weekend? If you had 2 ideas, so any decision that you need to make, but start with something easy. So that way you get used to how your body speaks to you. Maybe it's what you should have for lunch. I want to have chicken or leftover pizza. So
Are you
thank
saying
you.
that if you have a question, a decision to make in your life as a practice, you would do the exercises that you're talking about, like even with the fingers or
Yeah,
whatever it is, your muscles. So are you relying on that to make your decision?
I do because I trust it that much.
I guess,
And if
I
you
think
start with
depending
something
on,
simple,
yeah,
you can just try it out and see what the results are.
okay. How does logic um play in this? I mean, like, how do you, I guess it's like, how do you know the truth versus just your gut?
How do you know the truth versus your gut? Well, I believe the gut is the truth. So,
It's
and
really interesting. Yeah.
there is a place for brain data. There's absolutely a place. So what I like to do is sometimes I'll go, okay, what's true here? What are some facts that are not based on feelings at all? And I'll make a list. Like this situation, for example, this weekend, like I'm trying to decide if I should go test drive a car or because we need a new vehicle or um, go for a hike Saturday morning. So before I do muscle testing, oh yes, thank you. Michelle has a question. I'll explain this and then call on you, Michelle. So for those 2 situations, those are pretty practical, right? Like, should I go test drive a car or should I go for a hike? Which one? And so if I'm engaging my thinking brain, first I go, okay, well, the test drive probably will take 2 hours. That's a fact, right? Like based on my history, takes 2 hours to test drive. The hike will probably take me an hour. Okay. So those are facts also. The hike, my body will move and I'll feel good. It'll give me some of that, all those feel good chemicals. I will feel resourced. I'll feel alive. These are all based on history. And driving a car will help me for the future because then we'll have a new vehicle potentially. We've quote unquote missed out on 3 other vehicles that we wanted to buy because somebody else bought them first. Apparently the kind of car we want is a hot thing. So they keep disappearing. I'm like, ah. So this is all information that I might write down to just gain some thinking data type things. But when is something that's based on emotion or relationship and not just facts, which most things are based on relationship or emotional return, I'll just do a muscle test and I'll ask. So I can also identify, like, if my thinking brain is thinking one way, then I'll confirm, oh, it feels like I should be doing this. And then my body will answer yes or no. Does that answer your question? Like you can gain information, and I don't really ever make a decision based on that, only the brain information now, because I trust what my body says, because I've done this for so many years. And yet in the beginning, I didn't. Like, I had to try it out, just like anything. You got to practice and see how it works.
Interesting. Go ahead, Lachelle.
I was just going to say, I think it was Sandra that said that it tested opposite. I did too today, and I'm actually driving right now. That's why I'm off camera. And it's interesting because I use this all the time with clients, and I've been using it quite significantly the last 6 years. And when I first started, I thought it was weird. When I first learned, though, one of the things that I realized, and today was a reminder, is that you need to test every time before with things that you absolutely know, like my name is Lachelle, my name is Bob, to make sure that you're getting the right thing. So actually now I'm curious if there's some kind of like reversal of charge in my body somewhere that needs to be go in and be fixed, because I've never had it happen opposite way. And maybe it happens so Sandra would feel like she's not so unusual. The other thing too, because I'm in the car, I can only use the finger test. I obviously can't do the sway test, or my personal favorite, which is one that we're not even talking about today. I can't do it because I'm driving. It would be unsafe for me to do that. So I just thought that it was interesting. And I want to tell something else about the sway test. I have a lot of allergies and a lot of food sensitivities. And so I actually will go in, and I've seen this happen in other doctors' offices, where I will go into the store, I'll pick up an item and sway test with my body to see if it's good for me or not. Because sometimes ingredients are, like I have serious sensitivities to MSG and to certain other things. Often right now they're renaming things different chemicals. And so, I don't know what the chemicals are, but I can I can hold it in my body. It can feel the vibration of whatever's in my hand. And then I can muscle test to see if this is good for my body or not. And so you may see me swaying in my grocery store. So anyway, just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much, Lachelle. If you gals would like to set up a time with me to explore what it means when your body might be responding differently than it normally does. Did you notice that I didn't tell you how your body was going to respond? I asked you how your body responded, because that's how your body's responding. So what might be yes for you might be no for me. And so it's really important, like Lachelle pointed out, to ask a baseline question based on things that you know are fact, like your name. I always start off with, my name is Cynthia, my name is Bob. Just to make sure that my body is that I'm understanding how my body is speaking that day. It's pretty consistent now, like it's almost always the same, but that's a really great place to start, or the date.
That's great. Yeah. Let's go with Carol.
Hi, everybody. Cynthia, that is really an awesome presentation. And I have a girlfriend who she's not a practitioner, but she uses muscle testing on herself. And she tells me, at times when she tries to make a decision. So for me, I see it very, very useful. I especially love the practice that you described, standing up and seeing how your body responds to positive as well as negative. So my body leans in, and negative, it leans away. And I think for me, it's very, very useful. I am a health and wellness coach / yoga instructor, and I host yoga retreats. So one of the things that I need to do repeatedly is to find retreat venues. And I spend a lot of time researching.
Right here.
Yeah, when I get that hit, that this is it, I know it in my gut. Then what happens, unfortunately, is then my mind comes in and says, but what about this? But what about the cost? But blah, blah, blah. Should I really do it? Should I not? So, so
yes,
that's where it's really going to be very useful for me. So I was actually practicing while my video was off.
Great.
I was already starting with that.
Ah, that's
process.
wonderful. That's wonderful.
So
Thank you
for
so
that.
much for sharing that. You almost described exactly my daily scenario when my brain is doing all the data analysis, and then I'm like, okay, I'll do the muscle testing, and then my brain tries to get back into the play and say, oh, well, what about this? So it's just a time waster.
Yes, it'll save time for sure.
Yes. And while we are continuing to talk, I want to invite you to grab your phone also and scan this QR code. There's just some really quick and easy questions. This will give me, so what we're doing here is we're co-creating the future together. So
Before we continue, Cynthia, I just want to say that it's at 8 o'clock. So if anybody needs to leave, feel free to do so. And then when you're done explaining this QR code, we have Omeka with her hands raised.
yes,
Also.
yes, absolutely. So please scan the QR code and give me your lived experience. Your experience is everything to me. So if this was valuable to you, then I would love to know, so that way I can continue to share it with the world in the future. And if you're like, not really my jam, then I want to know that too. So I'm not spending time trying to promote this in the world and share it with the world. So please, please, please know that I read every word that you have.
Thank you.
Yes. And it is on your workbook too. So if you want to just scan your own workbook, you can. And
Okay.
yeah, let's go ahead and continue. Where'd you go?
Omeka, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Cynthia. That was great. In so many ways. Yeah, my whole deciding in my heart really, but both. It just helped me balance heart, head, hand, action type of decision making to come and help my mother go to the doctor and then stay and then stay and then stay. And then so I just been going through this whole process like, oh my God, should I stay? Yes. Let me see this. So should I stay? She needs help. She needs help. Like register. And it's okay. And all the feelings and the doubt, and fear, terror, and the protection. And yeah, so that just brought everything together. I wasn't really trying to think of something else, but that is like front of heart and mind right now. It's been 4 years, but it's like still the main decision I don't have to, but I choose to keep making. And I've been doing pendulums for years, so this is a nice, and that's a crystal piece of wood or whatever. And this is a nice way to just, I don't have to have something else. It's just because the energy is coming through us anyway.
Yes.
So, and the solar plexus is the spot where the nerve endings and the gut, that's the gut. I mean, that's the physical, gut feeling center. And just everything was just swirling around for me. So thank you everybody for your comments. Thank you for the practices, the work, all that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, Mecca, the way you just described things, I imagined a tornado of all the things, and that muscle testing can help you get into the eye of the storm.
Thank you. Yeah, and I do this kind of motion a lot, and it kind of clarified to me, like, there's different things that I do. Somebody might say something might resonate, and I'm going like this, and I'm, like anybody looking, but at this point, whatever. Because I know that energy coming through it, so it helped me decide which jerk or inflection is what. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. I'm glad that it inspired you with a new tool.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been a great session, really. This is a very interesting topic. I never really know about muscle testing before. Yeah, I know we're running out of time. I know, Val, you have a question or something?
A really quick comment about muscle testing. I've experienced muscle testing in the past and kind of let it go, but Cynthia, thank you so much for this presentation, because this resonated very much with me. The one that I was doing actually somebody did on me as far as muscle testing, I was with a practitioner, is putting the arm on the side. She was asking questions and then pushing my arm down.
Yep, weak.
This was a yes, or this was a yes. And I couldn't even, she would put pressure on the arm and the arm was not going out. And a no was like, I had no strength. So yes, it's a fact that the body talks to us when
Body
we
speaks. We just got to know
Yeah.
its language, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Those are great
I think
examples.
we really are running out of time. Past the time. Thank you so much, Cynthia. We'll need to
My
have you
pleasure.
come back again. Seems like a lot of people are interested in this particular topic.
Yeah.
Next week, Mo Cooper will be doing the presentation, 8 ways to optimize your immunity and protect your health. So that's a very good topic. So come back again, see, before I close this, I'd like to turn it over to Cynthia, have her say, her last word before we close.
Well, I just appreciate that each of you came with your curiosity and your open mind, your learning mind, just see what was here for you. And maybe you'd heard of muscle testing, maybe you hadn't, like some of you were familiar of different techniques. And I just hope that you walk away with an extra little bit of understanding of how our body can speak to you and how it can serve you and your highest well-being. And I really appreciate your time here, just spending knee to knee almost through Zoom.
Yeah, this
And
is
connecting.
awesome. Thank you. Jane, you didn't get a chance to say anything. Is there anything you want to say, Jane? Go ahead.
Oh gosh, yes, too much. So what I did, Cynthia, I responded. I filled out the information that I'd like
Thank
to
you.
get together. So yes, this has been tremendous. I'm very familiar with muscle testing, and I have been listening to my body from such a young age. And one of the, I don't know, has anyone ever read the book, The Body Keeps the Score?
Oh, yes.
Right?
If you can get through it, it's a little dry, but if you can get through it, it's amazing.
It is an amazing book if you want to know even more, Yeah, so thank you. I really look forward to. Where are you located, Cynthia?
I'm outside of Seattle.
Okay.
Not the Space Needle Seattle, the Mount Rainier Seattle. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm in New York, but I want to connect.
Oh, fantastic. If you would like to go to page 3 on your workbook, there's a QR code you can scan.
I did.
Great. So
I
just set
did.
up a
I
time.
filled it out. It's already to you.
Oh, really? I'm so excited. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. This is
I'll connect
Thank
wonderful.
you
with you.
again. Thank
Yeah.
you again, everyone. Have a great day, great weekend.
What's the book title, Jane, again?
The Body Keeps the Score.
Thank you.
Dr. Bessel van Kolb, Kolb, Van Kolb.
Okay.
It was on the New York Times bestseller list for over a year, maybe close to 2 years. It's that powerful. As you say, Cynthia, it's dry, but some of the things in it are like, what? So, yeah,
That's
worth
awesome.
reading.
Yeah, there's like mic drops all over the place.
Definitely.
Here's
Definitely.
Oh,
there you go. There you go.
Oh, wow. Okay. Did you get that, Val? Okay. So with that, we could go on forever here, but
Yes,
we must
we
close.
could. Yes, we
We
could.
must close. So thank you
wonderful.
again, everyone. Thank you, Cynthia, again, and all of you for your participation and contribution. We'll see you next week. Thank
Yes.
you. Bye-bye.
Pleasure being with you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.